Welcome back, this is Double Dragon 3 LP, and we're starting off in Japan this time. And this is where the game starts actually getting a little bit better. Even though the enemies tend to be a lot harder, it's just that you have Chin as a kind of a safety net, so that way you're not playing the whole time as Billy, and then if you die with Billy, you're kind of screwed. If you do die with Billy, you are screwed for at least a long portion of the game until you get to continue, but it's better just to be able to drain Chin's life and keep Billy's intact for the boss fights. In Japan, they introduced the ninja, who happens to be the hardest enemy in the game because of three basic things, but these are easily sidestepped by just walking up and down, so I mean, nothing new. They have a shuriken move where they throw a shuriken, but if you're not just standing straight on with them, they won't ever hit you with it. They have this thing where they jump against the wall and they jump attack you and all these other weird things, which is actually pretty hard to dodge, which makes the games pretty fun. It's just it's kind of annoying because they're really fast and it makes them hard to hit whenever they're doing the move. And then they have that little thing where they swing their katana, and it doesn't do much damage, but it's definitely effective for knocking you back. So I mean, just keep doing what you do for the rest of the game, and it shouldn't be too hard to beat. And once again, this game is cheap, so you gotta be cheap back, so... And on that note, I don't think this game is beatable using the cartridge. I guess that'd be wrong, but I mean, it doesn't take a lot of skill to beat this game, because you could be the best gamer, you could be the greatest gamer to ever step foot on the face of the earth, and almost have this game perfect, like take almost absolutely no damage throughout the entire thing, and you could lose because of a cheap combo by the final boss. So yeah, you can do it, but it takes a lot more luck than it does skill. So, I just don't trust it. I mean, if you could beat this game with the cartridge, man, hats off to you. But seriously, that's almost an impossible feat. So, good luck with that. And I'll actually talk about it later, but Chin's probably one of the best guys to fight the final boss with, because the best thing to do against her is, I guess, stay close and do fist combos, and his punching attacks are the strongest in the game, but at the same time, that's stupid advice, because being close will get you killed too. I don't know. The final boss is cheap, we'll talk about it next episode, and all that other stuff. But the great thing about Chin, you'll see that the ninja guy that's at the end of this level that you get, Chin and him are not as good as Billy, but at the same time, their moves are better than those. Because Billy's hurricane kick is good, but at the same time, with Chin's attack, you actually have a lot more range than is physically possible. Like, you'll kick people that are like you shouldn't be able to kick for feet, and it's that crazy. And I can't remember the ninja guy's name, but with him, all of his attacks, you can actually, he's got like a kick. His actual kick move is a really strong thing too, and it hits people that are far more than just pixels away. So, I mean, they're useful. They're just too slow or too, I guess, non-health. I guess I don't know. That's kind of stupid, but I mean, Chin's way too slow, but he's got a bunch of health, and the other guy's really fast but has no health, so he can't take any hits. But I don't know. We'll talk about that later. Oh yeah, the Iron Claws. Well, basically everybody has like a special weapon, just like Billy has the nunchucks. And oh, you'll see the Samurai's guy. He is so disappointing, but whatever. Well, Chin has actually like Iron Claws, which is just basically like, just a bunch of, it's like Wolverine's claws, but you can actually have them and stuff. I don't know. I guess Iron Claws would be the best thing to describe them. But basically, they just go on his hands and he punches with them, and it just does more damage. And by far, that is the best thing. And I can't believe, I seriously, when you're fighting the final boss, that's what you have to use. You have to use him, you have to use Chin with the Iron Claws. I spent hours fighting that boss, trying to find out the best way to fight her. And then all of a sudden, I figured that I was doing far more punching and kicking combos with Billy to kill her. And I'm sitting there, why didn't I use Chin with the iron claws? I mean, I never ever use his iron claws in regular combat, so they're there, and I didn't use them during the final fight. So, and it makes it so much easier. You'll see. Because, I mean, I spent about an hour fighting that final boss, and man, when I finally did that, it only took me, I think, one try after I started using the Iron Claws, but maybe two. All I know is I went from an hour playing the game to not. Ranzi, I don't know. But basically, for this, it's the same thing as the last three. I mean, basically, you walk up, you hit him with the nunchucks, you walk down, you hit him with the nunchucks. It's just, he does jumping tricks just like all the other ninjas. The saddest thing is, with Chin, at least he was like a really good martial artist. He was like the supreme guy around. Otherwise, he's just like the rest of the ninja. He doesn't do anything different. He's just a little bit stronger and a little bit more health. Not doing all that well, you know? Oh, and he does throw shurikens at you, so I mean, that is a little bit worse, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal, to tell you the truth. I am disgraced. I have tasted defeat for the first time. You have earned the second stone and also my respect. May I join you? Oh ho ho ho! Alright, if you didn't think the old woman was evil, let's walk through this so we can actually try to comprehend this. She walks up to you and says, I've always had the third stone, but we first gotta go to Italy before we go to Egypt to beat up a bunch of random guys and kill them so you get some training in. That doesn't make any sense. It's so evil. So incredibly evil. And I understand the whole aspect of like getting training in, but that's a little extreme to go to Italy to beat up a bunch of, I guess, gladiators to train. I mean, it's reasonable to do this, you know, to go beat up some gladiators. But that's if you haven't been fighting evil henchmen and bodybuilders and street fighters and stuff like that for the last, you know, week or so, killing like 60 of these guys in like every single setting that they ever go through. It doesn't make sense. Alright, let's talk about the ninja. He's really good at running, and he's really good at jumping, and that's about it. Everything else he's pretty mediocre at, but the fact that his speed and his jumping ability is actually very, very useful at times. But it's just, he'll never be as useful as Chin because of his lack of health. But it's alright. His actual regular kick is actually, it's like a spinning jump kick thing, and it knocks opponents away every time. And it has a long reach, just like Ken's double kick jump, or whatever you call it. But like, the worst part about him, though, is his regular attack is really weak and slow, and it's just him swinging his katana, which should be stronger than everything, but it's just not. And his super weapon, or his weapon, or whatever you call it, is just a shuriken. And it may seem like that'd be awesome, especially since you can just pick people off from far away, but everyone can duck underneath that stuff. Bosses will duck underneath that stuff no matter how hard you try to hit them. And it's really annoying because it's not useful at all, and you can't attack. Well, you can't simply cut somebody with your katana. You can't use your katana, which is just a punch. you can't punch anybody with your shurikens on, so it's kind of pointless. Because you have 20 of them, so you really think you're gonna have a huge advantage. But really, it's like you only hit somebody like 1 out of every 5 times you throw a katana. Puh, shuriken. Every time you throw one of those, and they're actually kind of weak. So I mean, outside of Chin and Billy, you really don't need any of those special items. So yeah. As level progression goes, the 4th mission isn't all that great. Because with the first 2 missions, you didn't get anything. The 3rd mission, you had Chin, and then in this mission, the 4th mission, Italy, you do have Rosano, or whatever his name is, I don't really care. The ninja, you have the ninja, but the problem is the fact that when you beat this mission, you do get to continue. And that sounds good, but the only mission you're really going to need it for, unless you're really bad at the game, and trust me, after a certain amount of time you're going to get better, is the 5th mission, and it's an absolute worst, it's wasteful there. Because it is useful because at some point, because when you if you actually lose a character, you won't ever get to play with him again, even if you beat, let's say Billy dies, you get both your ninja and Chin will get their health all the way back, but Billy's gone for good until you use the continue. So it's helpful there, but at the same time, you don't need it, because the only place it's useful is the 5th mission, and it is so long that when you die and have to re-continue over, it's so debilitating, because it starts you off at the very beginning of the mission. It doesn't start you off partway through, which, I mean, if you see these 3, the first 4 missions are like 2 parts every time, and maybe 3 if you count them in certain ways, but they're really just only a few parts together. And in the 5th mission, I think it's like 4 or 5 parts. And if you die by the final boss, you have to start it all the way over, and it is ridiculous to get through all that in the first try. It truly is. So the continue is worthless, but at least now you have all the characters in if you really want to, and if you're playing on cartridge at least. If you're playing the actual game, that continues, if you have the patience for it, is very, very helpful. And this boss I actually consider the hardest. Not because, I mean, the final boss is definitely harder, but it's just cheap. This one is actually harder because he will kick the crap out of you. I mean, he's got this weird jump kick where it's it's almost as if he jumps and teabags you while you're standing, kind of thing. When he does that, he takes at least 4 bars of health. I think it's more like 5, but I mean, it takes so much health from you. It's crazy. And he's a lot harder to kill, but I mean, definitely just does a lot more damage. Because the final boss will do a lot of damage to you, but it's more on the, like that. It's more on the time where it's like an ongoing process kind of thing, and it keeps making you mess up. It's never about one hit, like that one giant hit just takes you out for good. No, it's more of an over time kind of thing. But still, he can take out a lot of health real quick. Alright, thanks for coming, man. See you guys.